Welcome in True Sky Capricorn. Welcome to your reading for the month of July. So for the solar transit through the sign of True Sky Gemini, I have chosen an array of decks, and a lot of them have like a fairy tale kind of folklore theme. The first deck that I have laid out for you already is the Mystic Fairy Tarot. And on the bottom of the deck for you for the month, we have underlying energy of the moon. So quite interesting for the Capricorn with the moon there, because it is the ruler of your opposite sign, Cancer, and also it is quite interesting. So in the Vedic system, there is a moon-ruled nakshatra that is in Capricorn. So this moon-ruled nakshatra in Capricorn is called Shravana, which my natal moon is actually in. And at the moment, we do have True Sky Pluto in Shravana. So I don't know if that is influencing the reading here, but yes, you do have Pluto in your sign at the moment, Capricorn, and you also do have Pluto retrograde. So it's not your normal motion of Pluto. So it is something that potentially you could have. Your Capricorn placement could be in Shravana, or therefore will be either aspected by Pluto or in the coming years, because Pluto obviously moves quite slowly, even though at the moment it's going backwards. So that does slow it down even further. But yeah, there is that, for me, that intuitive link there. So the moon card has an interesting energy in the tarot anyway. So it is linked to like mysteries and intuition, dreams. It also has a bit of a deceptive energy, and it can even be linked to, fears and anxieties, the subconscious as well. It's also got that vague kind of energy, and there can even be like illusionary energy with it as well. So there could be those energies for you underlying this month. The first card we have for you, however, is the Magician. So this is a month which, by the looks of it, because it's the first card, it's going to be really significant, but also maybe more so during the early month, which we have just kind of passed. We're still in the early, but we're only just. So I do find this interesting that in this early part of July, we did have Mars conjoin Uranus in True Sky Taurus, which could have trined your Capricorn placements. In fact, that Uranus placement has been trining that Pluto, that retrograde Pluto. So Uranus and Pluto have been trining, and then also Neptune has been sextiling both of them. This month specifically, it's actually really close. And then also right now we have Jupiter, which is in your opposite sign, Cancer, and it's opposing Pluto at the moment as well. So that Jupiter is also coming up to, it is aspecting also the Uranus and the Neptune, but it's still a few degrees away from being like exact. But that is coming up. We also have, we have a lot going on, so I think I'll just continue with the reading. So I just thought that it was interesting because I think with those Uranian energies, Uranus energies, there is quite a otherworldly, even magical, you could say, like the fairies or other beings, like some would say aliens and things like that, are linked to that Uranus Uranus energy. And then the Mars is more like the warrior, the active, it's the doing. So together, having that Mars and Uranus conjunction, which was on the 4th, it was exact. I think it would have been really good for this magician energy and this manifesting kind of energy. Then you have the Queen of Wands. So this could be someone in your life at the moment. It's your crowning card. So if it's not someone in your life, it could be something that you are learning currently. And it would be, she kind of is known as the Witch of the Tarot. So she's very creative. She's very warm and, you know, loving, but on a more passionate level. And then also she, is very creative and abundant. She is also like very courageous and vivacious. She's good at taking charge. You know, she has that kind of fiery energy. If it's not something that you're learning and it's someone in your life this month that's significant, they could be of the fire signs or, you know, significant placements in the fire houses or the fire ruling planets. Then we have next to her the Knight of Swords. So the Knight is often not, you know, as old as the Queen. So we're talking your maybe 18 to 30 kind of age range, whereas the Queen and the King are more that 30 plus, the definite mature character here. We have a lot of characters here though, so it's going to be, I think, quite a busy social kind of month for you by the looks of it. We've got 3 knights. The central card is the Knight, and then we have the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles. So, and it looks to me like this manifesting energy is linked to money. So you're really working on, so yeah, there's quite a few Pentacles cards for you this month, which is your element anyway. I mean, it is the earth element. So you've got the Knight of Pentacles here, then you've got the 7, you've got the 3, and you've got the 9. You've also got the Wheel of Fortune. So to me, because this card is ruled by Jupiter, and like I was saying that you do have Jupiter opposing Pluto. Jupiter in Cancer, currently True Sky Cancer, opposing Pluto in True Sky Capricorn. So to me, that is a really magical combination, because obviously Pluto transforms and Jupiter expands. So maybe you're going to like win the lottery or something. I mean, to me, that's really powerful. Plus, you've also got that Pluto trining Uranus, which is like sudden change. So something like winning the lottery would kind of have that Uranian energy, because it's like this sudden thing. And then also, yeah, the Neptune as well, which is also, it's not closely trining the Jupiter yet, but it's getting there. It really is getting to close. And I think it actually is. I think it's about 3 degrees or something, the Jupiter and the Neptune trine, which is also really like amazing. We're talking expansion, but we're talking expansion of like Neptunian things as well, which is like imagination and, you know, creativity and even fantasy and, you know, very Piscean kind of themes, and in its own sign of Pisces, very potent. And then even the Uranus is in Taurus, which obviously is ruled by Venus, which is very creative as well. So even though they are the outer planets, because one of the major ones is in your sign, if it is aspecting anything in your chart, like your Capricorn placement or placements, it could really activate that area of your chart. So yeah, so we have this Knight of Pentacles, which could be someone in your life this month, of the earth sign. It could be you, of the earth signs or significant earth houses or the ruling planets of the earth signs significantly placed in their chart. So they'd be, yeah, like of that 18 to 30 age range. And then we have another Knight If they aren't individuals, they are often aspects of learning that you're currently going through. So the Nine of Pentacles is all about, you know, they're actually a little bit slow. So the Pentacles is not the quickest. However, they do bring stability. There is an abundant energy, and it is to do with resources, but yeah, they can actually put a bit of a delay on things here. So maybe there's some serious manifesting that has been going on early in the month, but maybe you might not see the results until a bit later. And then also the Seven of Pentacles here, which is saying that you're really looking at past choices, things that you have put energy and time and effort into, and, you know, deciding what it is has really worked for you, and making sure that you know, you analyze and, you know, take that knowledge from these past experiences and move into the future with it, you know, with that knowledge that you've gained of what works and what doesn't. And then, yeah, and then you have this Knight of Cups as your central card. So the Knight of Cups can be like a love offer. They don't have to be. It could be a friendship or some other kind of emotional nourishment. And it doesn't have to be an individual either, but it could be. It could be someone, like I said, of that 18 to 30-ish age range. And ultimately, you know, you have quite a few figures here. So they could even be interacting all together. Or it's more about you learning to master your emotions. And it could even be that you might dedicate yourself this month to some kind of creative or artistic project, because that energy is definitely here as well. And with all those planets interacting, I think it would be really good for something like that as well. Then you have the Nine of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles is really lucky when it comes to resources. It does signify some kind of generational wealth. It doesn't have to be that, you know, like actual inheritance, but just you have some support from some kind of elder or figure. It doesn't have to indicate that that support and stability has come from someone else. It can indicate that you've worked really hard for it. So in the traditional Rider-Waite, it's often like the eldest daughter, and she's, you know, richly dressed, and she has her pet bird, and, you know, in this beautiful garden. So it definitely gives that appearance that, you know, she's come from some kind of money. It doesn't have to mean that, though. It definitely means that you do have like a sense of luxury in your life at this stage, and that you know, it's a good time to really pamper yourself, you know, do self-care, and you know, use your abundance to support your... There is the potential also with this card that it could even be a pregnancy or a birth, or even links to like menopause. There's interesting links here. So it does have a very, you know, feminine cycle energy, and it's very much linked to like independence and success, and just having things going really well so that you can kind of take a break. So then you have the Three of Pentacles here, and this is more about like collaborating with others, and, you know, learning new skills, but also like mastering skills, and yeah, definitely collaborating. So there could be something going on here with this success and the collaboration. And then obviously having the Wheel of Fortune here with the Three of Pentacles is a really beneficial energy as well. So the next cards I'm going to clarify with are the Victorian Fairy Tarot. And on the bottom of the deck we have the Fairy Bride, which is like your equivalent to your Lovers card. So having the Lovers with the, to clarify, the Moon card on the bottom of those decks does give a bit of an interesting energy. So I'm getting the feeling that So the moon is that, you know, intuitive process, and then the fairy bride, which is the lovers, is all about choices. So it might be, there might be an underlying energy this month of choices that need to be made, and you're going to have to really use your gut instincts and intuition to guide you, because there could be some kind of illusionary energies about this decision or about these decisions. So the first card we have to clarify the Magician is the Seven of Winter, which is like your Seven of Swords. So it is a conflict card. It has that energy of deception. In this card, obviously, we see the man with the buckets and the rat. So it has that kind of trickster element to it, that kind of deceptive element. So it is interesting because this is the clarification for the Magician here. That's really why it wasn't focusing then. The clarification for the Magician. So this is all about that manifesting power. And then this card is more about, you know, it's very manipulative, it's very cunning. There's potential of like dishonesty and trickery, which obviously, so potentially, I'm not sure if this is you or someone that you're interacting with, but there could be some of this deceptive energy here for you this month. I'm guessing that also with this Pluto retrograde, it could be some of that energy that is coming out, because obviously the Magician is like the manifester, this master manifester, but then there's, yeah, this kind of deceitful, trickster, cunning kind of energy mixing in there, and it does have that energy of kind of dangerous, risky behavior, underhanded, you know, an enemy masquerading as a friend. It's really not very positive. So just be aware of that. Be aware of that energy. I don't see it as you manifesting that into your life, but maybe there's something that you are manifesting into your life at the moment that isn't what it seems. Potentially that could be also, or there just could be someone in your life that is like that, like a trickster kind of person, and they're very manipulative. For the Queen of Wands, sorry, we have the Three of Spring. So this is a really positive combination. The Three of Spring is quite an expansive energy. It does indicate travel, potentially even overseas travel, and just definitely expanding your horizons. So if this is you, for this Queen of Wands, that you are learning the Queen of Wands energy. So this is for the crowning position, the crowning cards. So it's all about your mind, but also like your spirit. So it's also higher energies than the mind as well. Yeah, this could be a really good month for being creative, but also like just stretching beyond yourself. Like, so also, you know, maybe going to new places, going on like some kind of journey, and that might actually really help inspire some of this creative energy in your life. Then we have, for the Knight of Swords, we actually have the Herald of Winter. So this is like your Page of Swords. So the Knight of Swords clarified by the Page of Swords. This is really intensely air, intellectual energy here. And just as the Knight of Swords can bring a message in, the Page can also. So there may be something really important this month that you learn, some kind of message. It could be from someone. So the Page could be a child, could be of the air signs or significant houses or planets in their chart, but doesn't have to be. But yeah, you could receive a message from even a couple of individuals that will really help you. I believe it will help you because next to, I mean, however, we do have other cards. Next to here, we have the Three of Spring, which is all about expansion. So it really could help you. It might even be on a trip that you meet these individuals. However, here we do have the Five of Autumn. So this card is more of a card of scarcity. So it's not, it has that really negative energy of, you know, feeling left out in the cold, and also financial hardship. And it's temporary though. However, it's a real kind of feeling of loss, and even feeling like the world is against you on some level. So it's a really interesting clarification for this Nine of Pentacles. So potentially you might have this abundance of wealth or resources and the ability to kind of rest and invest in yourself. However, there's also this underlying feeling of like scarcity and not enough. So it's a bit of a contradictory energy there. It does also have the potential of illness as well. So that could also be a factor. And maybe even you might have some kind of illness this month and you really need to, you know, do your self-care and nourish yourself to kind of get through that period. Then for the central card, which is the Knight of Cups, you have the Vicar. So the Vicar is like your Hierophant, which is interesting that you have the Hierophant as your central card. So the Hierophant is about seeking the advice of elders. They're generally people that have a lot of wisdom, and to do with this Knight of Cups situation. So this is about that. It could be a person, but it also just could be like a love offer or some kind of emotional nourishment here. So the combination could really suggest that you might need to seek the advice of someone, especially around your emotions. And even passions. There might be someone, maybe a counselor or just someone in some kind of authority that you could talk to about your situation. And also it's a very spiritual combination. So the Hierophant is very much linked with traditions, and you know, it's that kind of orthodox, traditional, it's kind of conservative energy. And then having the Knight of Cups is more of that emotional and also creative energies. So it could even be that you are this month learning to balance your emotions with some kind of traditions in your life, and even using your creativity and desires in some kind of structure. So it could be even like an art project or something that's like quite therapeutic. It could even be like music or some kind of creative energy here in a structure though. Then for the next one we have is the Knight of Pentacles, which was about that incoming stability. And you know, there is financial abundance here, but it's just slow coming in. You have the Ten of Summer. So this is about like emotional nourishment. So really beautiful energies to have together. So even though it's slow coming in, it's going to be really satisfying emotionally for you when this financial stability comes in. It could even be an individual. If it is, then they will bring like emotional nourishment in your life. Then for the Seven of Pentacles, we have for you the Six of Summer. So the Six of Summer is like your Six of Cups. And the Seven of Pentacles is that summing up period, you know, looking at what has worked in your life and deciding what to do in the future with what you have. Whereas the Six of Summer is, or the Six of Cups, is very nostalgic. It's very dreamy. It could even be linked to like a past life, but it can be a past life as in your childhood, or just like a life that you lived before your current one. But yeah, having that, it's quite interesting. Maybe there is some even childhood dreams or something that you have been working on, and seeing if they, you know, will work out or not. But there's some nostalgic energy here with this summing up period this month for you. Then for the Wheel of Fortune, we have the Ace of Spring. So the spring is like your wands energy. So this is a really positive combination as well. So having the Ace of Wands to clarify the Wheel of Fortune, to me, is really saying that there's some kind of new passion projects that you will start this month, and that they will bring really good fortune for you. So really look to your passions and what it is that you really, you know, what fires you up, what motivates you, what makes you want to put that extra effort into something. And that's where your fortune will be found. And then here for the Three of Pentacles, which was about that collaborating with others, we have the Emperor. So the Emperor is like that traditional paternal, patriarchal figure. So he's a masculine and he's a leader. So he's actually more powerful than all the kings put together. He's the emperor. So potentially it could be like an emperor figure that you actually are collaborating with this month, or the emperor figure is you and you're needing to take on these leadership qualities and really lead this, whatever it is you're collaborating in, but lead that collaboration into, you know, the future strongly, and being that strong pillar of, you know, reliable, inspirational, you know, motivational, successful, leadership kind of energy. The next cards I'm going to pull from are the magical messages from the fairies. And on the bottom of the deck, we have walk away, leave the unhealthy situation, and enjoy the new doors that open as a result. Then you have for the crowning card, daughter. The answer to your question involves your daughter. So this was for the Queen of Wands with the Three of Spring. So potentially, I don't know if this Queen of Wands is your daughter, or this Queen of Wands is having a daughter, or there's some link here with, so there's quite a lot of wand energy. So it's not just the Queen, but it's also the three. So maybe this daughter has quite a bit of fire in her chart, or her mother does, or there's some link with the feminine and the daughter and the fire, and she'll be quite a you know, a go-getter. That's you know, that Three of Wands energy is like, you know, like in the card it has the bird with the spread out wings, you know. It's a beautiful card. But yeah, maybe she will have, and then also the Queen of Wands, you know, she'll have that kind of energy. Then we have your wish is granted. What you've asked for is coming true. So this is your central card. This is for the Knight of Cups with the Vicar, or the Hierophant. And then we have, whom do you need to forgive? As you release old anger or resentment, you'll find that your wishes will come true. And this is linked to that Wheel of Fortune with the Ace of Spring. The next cards I have for you are the Fairies Oracle, the Froud. And on the bottom of the deck, we have for you Iris of the Rainbows. So she represents hope and promise for the future. Iris tells us that light is breaking through our present darkness, and that hope is a powerful factor in speeding up this process. She does not promise us that the storm is over, nor does she say that it will never storm again. But she does say that there is a brightness and beauty here. She also tells us that there is something to be gained by this passage through the storm. And the sooner we learn what it is, the sooner the storm will end. Always, a passage through the storm is a time of potential growth, a time to allow the dead wood of our past to be blown away to make room for the green shoots of new growth. At this point, it is useful to ask ourselves what we still need to release, and to look after protecting and nurturing the seeds we have planted. Iris suggests that the cultivation of patience may also be helpful at this time. The storm is breaking up. Are we ready for the change? If we are presently, frogs, the fairies say, the time of our transformation, foretold by the rainbow, may be at hand. Then we shall be kissed by the puissant light of the sun and discover if we are still frogs or if we become something much more. So that's the shadow energy of the reading. So the first card, however, we have the Lorme. That's linked to the daughter. Honesty, your wishes granted, and Turbira of the Waters, which is whom do you need to forgive? Okay, so the crowning card is the Lorme, which represents unconditional giving and unconditional receiving. If you are stuck or blocked in a situation and the Lorme turns up in a reading, you probably need to stop focusing on what you are trying to accomplish and simply give to others, freely and generously and unconditionally. Try a few random acts of kindness, unconditionally given, of course. Go do some volunteer work somewhere. Mow your elderly neighbor's lawn, or take homemade soup or some flowers from your garden to someone you know who is ill. Give some help to a co-worker just because they need it. Give to a needy stranger, whether or not you think he deserves it. Take flowers into a hospital and give them to a stranger at random. Or give them to a nurse with compliments from the universe. Give a bit more than you think you can afford. Go a little further than you think you reasonably can. Empty your wallet or purse of all your cash for a beggar on the street. Don't worry, it will fill up again, much faster than you might expect. Wow, so that's really interesting. So that energy is linked to your daughter. Wow. So this fiery daughter who's also very abundant and giving. Then for the central card, we have honesty. So obviously honesty represents honesty, compassion, tact, and self-deceit. Honesty in a reading speaks unsurprisingly of the need for straight dealing and truth in representation. We need to be scrupulously honest here, making certain that there is no room for confusion or misunderstanding, no fuzzy edges. Both written and verbal agreements need to be completely clear. Assumptions may not be as well understood by all parties as we are assuming, and the need to be tested for comprehension. On a personal level, honesty reminds us not only to be clear in what we say and do, but also to act and speak with compassion and tact. Brutal honesty is not usually true honesty at all, but somehow slanted toward the worst. Dishonesty, even in the name of tact, is not helpful either. Balancing on that fine line of loving honesty may take some effort, but will provide rich rewards. Honest humility, idealism, and clarity of mind are some of the advantages of honesty. So, and that's to do with your wish being granted. So really try to be honest. Don't, like it was saying, don't be brutal, but don't be dishonest. Honesty is like that fine line between humility, idealism, and clarity of mind. So the base of the matter for you, we have Tabira of the waters, and she represents emotions, serenity, meditation, gracefully accepting change. Water is mutable, changeable, fluid, and Tabira speaks to us of a particular kind of change of emotions, and possibly a change in health. We have important choices to make about how we meet those changes and where we let them take us. Toward the calm, flowing purity of the fairy waters, or the boiling cauldron of hot temper and steamy emotions. The choice is obvious, but sometimes forget that we have it. Tabira reminds us that we do have a choice, and making it wisely or unwisely determines our future. The things we need in life remain constant, no matter what is going on or how hectic the changes and pressures in our life may be. We need nurturing and love, and it is ultimately up to us to provide that for ourselves. The healing fairies will help us if we ask them to. So that's linked to this, whom do you need to forgive? Okay, the next cards I'm going to read from are the Fairy Ring Oracle. On the bottom of the deck we have the Woodrose, which is the King of Spring. So he represents the call of the wild and the original, leaving behind the known for the unknown. He is a breath of fresh air and indicates the rejection of established values and normal life overturned. However, there is a sense of optimism in the air, notwithstanding unexpected events and circumstances. The card may indicate a real person in the life of the questioner, a mature man who is lively, energetic, and noble, but unorthodox and unconventional. A man who throws everything around him into chaos. So that's the shadow card of the deck. Shadow energy of your month. Then we have Two of Summer, Wayland Smith. So he's your crowning card. Then we have Fairy Festival, Lugnasa as your central card, and then Lady Morgan Le Fay of Autumn as your base of the matter. It's funny because I was thinking about Wayland Smith recently. He was one of the gods of the north, very much linked with metallurgy. So Wayland Smith indicates a period of hard work, creation, craftsmanship, knowledge, skill, and mastery. opportunities and success are at hand, and your efforts will bring rewards. Wayland also indicates, in some sense, transmutation and forging new things from the old. Fantastic. Okay. The central card is Lugnasa. So Lugnasa indicates that you will start to reap the rewards of your efforts. Though more work is needed to bring a project to final completion, this card may also indicate that the closing of one door will lead to the opening of another. And then the base of the matter card for you this month is the Lady Morgan Le Fay. So she's a mistress of occult knowledge, indicating wisdom and power gained from study and experience combined. So she may indicate aspiration and ambition, but also cunning and ruthlessness. She may be a real woman in your life at this time, an independent woman who covets success, who's passionate, sensual, and fond of possessions and pleasure, but also capable of being manipulative and controlling. So this is the base of the, that's fascinating because we did have, like, that's the energy I was kind of picking up on here with this Magician and the Seven of Swords. You know, someone that's very powerful, but that, yeah, is very manipulative and cunning. And then we have that energy again with Morgan Le Fay. I do love the character of Morgan Le Fay, though. I mean, you know, she's potentially like a goddess, witch kind of character, but if you know your mythology and history of the British Isles, then we have the next cards I have are the Fairy Tale Lenormand, and on the bottom of the deck we have the dog. So there's some underlying energy to do with friendship for you for this month. The crowning card is the Crossroads. Then we have Child in the center and Clouds. Clouds, oh my goodness. So the dog friendship energy with the Crossroads indicates a follower, so someone, it also says it's about choice based on loyalty. So your decisions with this Crossroads are going to be about loyalty and yeah, that maybe even, yeah, you might follow someone or someone might be following you at this time. It's to do with a follower. And then for the child with the dog, the energies are about like childhood friend or childhood friends, even potentially the start of a friendship. So because the child is to do with being young, it's like the beginning, and then the dog's the friendship. Also a loyal and naive person as well. It has that energy as well. And then for the clouds with the dog, we have confusion around a friendship or confusion with a friend, and also confusion around loyalty. So that's really interesting because having that Lady Morgan Le Fay being, you know, powerful and knowing a lot, but she's also cunning and manipulative. And then we had that kind of energy opened the reading with that energy, you know, the Magician with the Seven of Swords there. So definitely be careful. I'm not saying that you definitely have like a friend that is a trickster in your life, but just be aware of these energies because it could be resonant for you this month. Also, the energy of the child with the Crossroads is about like inexperienced choices. So it's obviously the child is new to everything, But also they have that sense of open-mindedness as well. So there is that youthful, because they don't have that, you know, past experience blocking them in any way. So that's interesting as well. Like with this decision or this crossroads, it could be good to have that youthful energy around it. However, having the child with the clouds suggests that there's an inexperience here and there's a confusion. So there's confusion from the inexperience, and there's even a growing sense of confusion. So be aware of that as well. So this situation sounds very confusing, which is interesting because they are the cards that I have for you for the month. Like that's all of them. And normally at the end I do a little bit of an astro musing. However, I have already done a little bit of that already, so I won't go into it too much. However, today Neptune has actually gone retrograde. So it's interesting that there's all this confusion of energies, I think, personally, because Neptune retrograde is confusing energies, you know, it is that. So that's really resonant there. Also with the clouds, because the clouds are very much about worries and like anxieties and stress and even potential depression and things like that. And we do currently have the Mercury retrograde, which is in Gemini, and it will be until the 23rd of July. So most of this month we do have Mercury retrograde. The Neptune retrograde will be until December the 12th. And we do still have that current Pluto retrograde until October 16. So it's interesting, some of the energies coming up. Also, the new moon this month is where I am. It's on the 14th of July and it's in Gemini. So it should be in Gemini no matter where in the world you are. However, it could be maybe on the 13th for you. It could be on the 14th, depending on where you are. You need to look at your time zone. And then for where I am as well, the full moon here is on the 30th of July. And that's a full moon in your sign, Capricorn, true sky Capricorn, which is interesting because we did have that underlying energy in the main deck of the moon. And this month is your full moon month. And yeah, the sun will be in your opposite sign, Cancer, which is ruled by the moon. And interesting that, yeah, we do have that Pluto transit currently in Travana, which is also ruled by the moon. So I hope you have a fantastic month, Capricorn. And if you made it this far and you got anything out of the reading, you know, it probably won't all resonate. So just take what resonates and leave the rest for those that it's meant to resonate for. If you could like, comment if you have any comments, subscribe or share the reading, that would be fantastic. Thank you to everyone that already has subscribed. Thank you for all your wonderful likes and comments. I'm really excited about growing this little channel. I appreciate every one of you that's here. So yeah, so have a great month and take care. Bye. Oh, I just wanted to say, and it actually came to me earlier and I didn't say it. So the other thing is, I don't think I mentioned this. Saturn is currently, your ruler is currently in true sky Pisces. So not only is it in true sky Pisces, but then Pisces ruler Neptune is in true sky Pisces, and then that's going retrograde. So I just think that some of that, you know, Saturn is your ruler, so it's important. Some of that confusing energy, I think, could also be there linked for you, having your ruler in, you know, the confusing sign of Pisces. Obviously, it's not always confusing, but then having the Neptune retrograde could definitely create that. So yeah, I just thought I would add that. I did think of it earlier and I didn't actually add it in. So, okay, bye.